Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this afternoon's transportation hearing. Before we begin, I'm going to ask our attorney, Ms. Jerisha Dukes, to read the docket.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon. This proceeding before the Public Service Commission in docket number 2020-77-T concerns the application of Thompson and Webster doing business as 2 Men in a Truck of Augusta to amend its tariff and scope of authority. The hearing is scheduled for today, Wednesday, May 13th, 2020, immediately following the Commission's business meeting. We are holding this hearing virtually. There has been no objection and no intervention. Mr. Chairman and other commissioners, the docket is in order.
Thank you, Ms. Dukes. We'll take the commission roll as we do on each of our virtual hearings. So if you will answer here, Commissioner Belzer.
Present.
Commissioner Whitfield.
Present.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Present.
Commissioner Howard.
Here.
Commissioner Urban.
Here.
Okay, we've got everybody here, so we will now take appearances from the parties. First applicant.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, my name is Jack Pringle of the firm of Adams and Reese, representing the applicant, and with me providing testimony virtually will be Mr. Robert Michael Thompson.
Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Pringle. Office of Regulatory Staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jenny Pittman here for the Office of Regulatory Staff.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Pittman. Welcome. Okay. I think we established that there's nothing we have to do before we start. So, Mr. Pringle, you may present your case. And what we'll do, Mr. Pringle, is once you, when you call Mr. Thompson, I'll swear him in so that we make it all official.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think if it would please the Commission, I think at this point, rather than putting certain things in through Mr. Thompson, I'd like to ask that certain documents be marked for identification and entered in as hearing exhibits, if that would work.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay. The first one would be and all of these documents have been filed with the Commission previously.
Okay.
The first would be the company's application and exhibits. There are 8 exhibits, including a shipper witness affidavit, but I would ask if it would please the Commission that the entire application, including the exhibits, be marked for identification as a composite exhibit and entered into evidence as hearing exhibit 1.
Okay, all of those, I think I do have that listed that way on my list that I was provided, so we will enter the application and the 8 exhibits, including the shipper witness affidavit, as composite exhibit number 1.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Then also, there were 2 affidavits of publication that had been previously filed in the docket. I'd ask that those, as a composite matter, be marked for identification and entered into evidence as hearing exhibit 2.
We will enter the proof of publication, the 2, as a composite exhibit number 2.
Okay, thank you. And thirdly, a tariff and bill of lading were also filed in the docket. I would ask that the tariff and bill of lading be marked for identification as a composite exhibit and entered into evidence as the 3rd hearing exhibit.
Okay, it will be, the tariff and bill of lading will be entered as exhibit number 3.
Mr. Chairman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Oh.
Yes, Commissioner Belzer.
Could I just clarify that he's referring to the tariff and bill of lading that was filed, I believe, earlier today, and not the tariff that was filed with the application?
Yes, filed 5/13/20.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and
okay.
Okay, and that's all we have before I present Mr. Thompson.
Okay, great, thank you.
And the witness for the applicant is Mr. Robert Michael Thompson.
Okay, and Mr. Thompson, we'll swear you in, and then we can begin with your testimony. Mr. Thompson, do you affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Pringle, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Thompson, if you would, please state your full name and business address for the record.
Robert Mike Thompson, 3520 Wrightsboro Road, Augusta, Georgia, 30909.
Okay. And by whom are you employed and in what capacity?
2 Men in a Truck is the franchise. Thompson & Webster LLC is my business, sole proprietor, business owner.
Okay. Have you caused to be pre-filed in this docket direct testimony and question and answer format consisting of 4 pages?
Yes.
Do you have any additions, deletions, or changes to make to that testimony?
No.
If I asked you all of the questions that appear in that testimony, would your answers be the same?
They would.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I would like to ask that Mr. Thompson's direct testimony be read into the record as if given orally from the stand.
Thanks, Ms. Wheat. I've had my phone muted. Is it pre-filed verified testimony?
It is not verified, Mr. Chairman, just pre-filed testimony.
Okay. So Ms. Dukes, we're okay with that.
Yes,
Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
if
Chairman.
I might,
Hang on, Commissioner Belcher. Mr. Dukes is,
No, you can take her comment first.
okay. Commissioner Belcher.
because the witness is here and can verbally say that that is his testimony, it is correct. I don't know that we need a verification.
Okay.
He's doing that from the
Great.
in the course of the hearing.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Belcher. I think, Ms. Dukes, I got my question answered. So the pre-filed direct testimony of Mr. Michael Thompson will be entered into the record as though given orally from the stand.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Thompson, have you appeared before and testified before this commission before?
I have.
Tell the commission a little bit about that.
Well, we opened our business in 2001. At that time, we saw the necessity to file for South Carolina Authority. We're awarded 3 counties back in late 2001, early 2002, I believe, to service our neighboring counties here in the CSRA.
Tell the commission what CSRA means.
The Central Savannah River system, it's basically the Augusta area and the Aiken area. Barnwell, Aiken, Edgefield, Columbia County, Richmond County, and Georgia. It's all linked
Okay.
in our common areas.
Since the original authority you got from this commission, very briefly tell the commission about what's changed with respect to your business.
Well, when we first got our authority, we had 1 truck. Of course, myself is a mover and an owner. And our population base was a lot lower at that time, both in the South Carolina counties as well as here locally in Georgia. Since that time, we've grown to 12 trucks, and the demand is more. The area that we have is a very strong area, and there's a lot of people that do move to and from this area.
Okay. And do you have intrastate authority anywhere else?
We have intrastate authority statewide in the state of Georgia and interstate authority up to all 48 contiguous states.
Okay. Do you understand this commission's insurance and safety requirements?
I do.
And you've obtained insurance in the at least the minimum requirements that this commission's regulations set?
Yes, we have.
Okay. Since you've been operating in South Carolina, to your knowledge, have you had any complaints filed with the Office of Regulatory Staff or with the commission?
No complaints filed since we've got our authority that I have knowledge
Okay.
of, and I'm actively involved.
Okay. In the event that there is a complaint filed with the ORS, would you the person for them to get in touch with?
I would be readily available to anybody. We also have a general manager too on site.
Okay. And in this application, you're seeking statewide authority, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
Have you had to turn away any intrastate moves for which you didn't have authority?
We have.
Just talk about that just very briefly.
I had one of our family relatives worked with me for a while, and it was November 2012. She started maintaining a log out of our previous conversation that we had, and she worked here until May of 2017. At that time, she maintained a log and had approximately 270 intrastate moves that we could not perform outside the 3 counties we currently had.
Okay. And we've discussed this earlier, but there is a shipper witness affidavit that's been filed in this case that provides some more evidence about the need for moves statewide. Is that right?
Yes, there is.
Based on what you've told me about the equipment and facilities that the company has, have you got enough wherewithal, whether that's financial or equipment and or employees to provide moves statewide in South Carolina?
Yes, we do.
Okay. And we didn't touch on this, but you did provide a balance sheet along with the application. Very briefly describe the financial condition of the company.
We have a very strong financial stability to our organization.
Okay. And you mentioned this also. You're a 2-men-and-a-truck franchisee.
Yes, I am.
Okay. And as a part of 2-men-and-a-truck, there are a great many training and business and other resources that are made available to you.
There is.
Okay. If you get the certification that you're seeking here, will you agree to continue to follow all applicable South Carolina law that applies to as a household goods carrier?
Yes.
Okay. And as part of this application, you also asked for some amendments to your tariff. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Very briefly, what are you looking to do?
Well, we have we had the addition of the valuation options, and that'd be more consistent within the area we have with the clientele we service. We have, some minor rate changes. Our last rate adjustment was done in 2012, our first and only one since we received authority. Those
Okay.
are some major areas
All right.
right there.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, that's all that I have for Mr. Thompson, and I would tend to the witness, and you can answer any questions that the ORS or the commissioners may have for you.
Thank you, Mr. Pringle. Ms. Pittman, any questions from ORS?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No questions from ORS.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions for Mr. Thompson?
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Belzer.
thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Thompson.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Belzer.
Thank you for your presentation. I just want to talk to you a little bit about some of the work that y'all have had to decline. Do you see any season where you've had to decline more work than other times of the year?
Well, we typically run like the seasons, to tell you the truth, in the moving industry. When it warms up and we heat up. That's just our industry. That's the trends we've seen here in Augusta, and most of the industry itself. So, turning away moves is something we never like to do, regardless of what the reason. Right now, we're restricted based off our current operating authority. Okay. And if we had that ability for people that we service within the state of South Carolina to take them elsewhere or bring them back if we moved them out from a neighboring state, that would definitely help us, our customers.
Okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate your presentation today. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Commissioner Belzer. Commissioners, any other questions? Okay. If not, Mr. Pringle, does that conclude your case?
That does, Mr. Chairman. I mentioned earlier that the shipper witness testimony, which was actually filed with the application, that's also in the record, but that's,
right.
That is also testimony that supports it. But yes, that is, the applicant rests as such.
Thank you. Thank you. We have that. Okay. Ms. Pittman, ORS.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. While ORS did not file testimony in this docket, we did submit a letter with our impact study and a tariff comparison back on April 23rd, 2020. And based on our review of the application and the material we reviewed for the impact study, we find that this applicant will continue to meet the BitLink enable requirements of Section 103-133. And at this time, if I may, I'd like to enter a letter we filed yesterday, May 12th, 2020, in as the next hearing exhibit. And this is a letter stating that we wouldn't be filing direct testimony, but we have reviewed the application.
Is that the impact report or is that the letter? I have both of those listed on my list.
And I might be doing them out of order. This was actually yesterday's letter, and I also have a letter dated April 23rd, 2020 with our with an exhibit that I'd like to enter. So whichever order.
Okay, let's do the letter with the exhibit. That way we'll keep it consistent on the sheet that's already been printed out. So we will enter your letter in Exhibit A, the impact report letter, as hearing exhibit number 4.
Okay.
And then your letter of fit, willing, and able testimony filed yesterday, we'll enter that as exhibit number 5.
Great, thank you. And I do have Mr. McGill sitting here with me. If any commissioners have any questions, I'll be happy to put him on the stand.
Thank you. Commissioners, anybody want to hear from Mr. McGill? He's chomping at the bit, I know. Okay. I guess you're off, Mr. McGill. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Pittman.
Nothing further from ORS. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Anything else to come before us in this matter? Okay.
I don't think so, Mr. Chairman, although it's nice to put on a suit for the first time in I don't know when. So.
Well, we all do that every now and then, so which is good. So glad you did too.
Yeah.
Okay, then if we don't have if there's nothing else to come before us, we will certainly act on this as soon as possible. Mr. Thompson, thanks for being here, and we are adjourned. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Do we?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.
Before we adjourn, I had a question for Mr. Pringle about proposed order dates. Did you have a deadline in mind?
My fault.
No worries.
Ms. Duke.
How about Monday the 16th?
Oh, okay. Sounds good to me. And Mr. Chairman, did you want me to recap the exhibit list, or you think you're okay?
I think we're good on it.
Okay.
This exhibit list was pretty straightforward and simple, so I think we're good there.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, Ms. Dukes, anything else before I try to end this again? Because, I get jumpy here.
No, Mr. Chairman, nothing from me.
All right, good deal. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, everybody. And now we are adjourned.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.